What's up, everybody? How you doing? It is a brand new week, and that means a brand new episode of Chat and Draw. We're in the building today. My name is Mike Watson, and you're probably like, "Who are you, guy? What do you do? What makes you the person that's hosting this show?" I'll let you know. I'm the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group, founder of Freestyle Comics, one half of the good, the bad, the nerdy, the most enthusiastic person in comics, sometimes going by the alias of the Super Mad Brother. Mike Watson, your host today and every day that we have Chat and Draw right here, right now. And the show streams live Mondays. Wait, what day is this? This is a Thursday. Yeah, so we had one on Monday. I'm off track, man. My kids are back at school right now. They're doing the virtual crap, which is a pain in the butt. And then they're going for a couple days, which today was the first day back. So it felt like a Monday because my wife and I literally got to get so much work done uninterrupted. It was amazing. So my schedule was a little topsy-turvy. But this is season 3 of Chat and Draw. And stay tuned. I will be updating and releasing information about those Chat and Draw volume books. I did not forget about them. They are glorious. They are great. I cannot wait to unleash them upon you. It's going to be well worth the wait when it comes and happens. But here we are on the show. What is this show? What do we do on this show? We talk about comics. That's what we talk about. I bring creators on this show and I talk about their comic, or I talk about their character, or I talk about their Kickstarter or their Indiegogo, whatever it is that they're promoting. I bring them on the show for this. Later this month, we'll have our first fan episode, our Patreon fan episode with Andrew Duggan. He's been on my Patreon page. He pledged for that tier, so he gets to come on here and we get to do a special episode focusing on what he wants me to draw and talking about his fandom. But if you would like to be on this show and you want to promote your Kickstarter, your Indiegogo, your comic, your character, the first issue, whatever it is, if you want to promote a business, I recommend you come on the show because I sit and chat with you while drawing whatever said thing that we're drawing. And today, I don't know if she really qualifies as a villain, because I've heard my buddy, my pal, Christie talk about this character so much, so I don't know what category she fits in, but she's a demon and she's a bitch. So I'm going to have to say, unless Christy corrects me, she's a villain. And we are in our 3rd week of villain drawing on season 3 of Chat and Draw. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get Christy.
Here comes a new challenger.
Yes! She came with her dukes ready. That's right. Yeah. That's how you do it
all the time, man. It's just what can I say? Yeah, Demon Bitch is definitely a villain. She was
all right, awesome.
The girls that were awful and I hated because they were mean to me. So that's it's unwise to annoy cartoonists, and they annoyed me.
Cartoonists are super powerful. And I love what you're doing with the power of your pen with this character and the story behind it. But what I want to do is I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. Where they can find you at and stuff, and how did you get into this comic book game?
Well, okay, always loved comics. Was a total I did anime first. I mean, I did read the big 2, DC and Marvel, and I like Batman. I also liked X-Men, but I do like Psylocke too. I mean, I know she's an X-Men, but you get what I mean. But also, I did also get into a lot of indie comics because they didn't fit nicely into things, and they would do and say shit that I was totally surprised in. So I would say how I got into this game was kind of late. I started off as a graphic designer and artist, and I tried different ways. I even tried acting at one point, just to kind of figure out what was going on, because I got laid off from my sensible job, and I was like, I need to do this. And I got other sensible jobs, but it didn't quite work out. And I got to a point where I was like, let me just do comics. Why not? And I tried a couple of times before, and they were really funny because they were really terrible. But once I actually went digital, comics were easier, so I didn't have to redraw everything. So I could actually have panels and stuff pre-made, and I could just jump into drawing. And Demon Bitch is about, I said in short, about all the girls that were ever mean to me. I think a lot of women could relate to that, and I think a lot of men actually relate to it more. And one would argue, oh, because you make fun of women. I said, well, I make fun of asshole women. But at the same time, somebody once pointed out to me that dudes want to know about women. So if you guys want to get the book, hey, Pops, what's up? So if you guys want to get the book, you could go down to horrortourstudios.com. There is a store, but there's also a store link. And what is it? Let me see here. And also what it is that she's a low-level demon from the 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog crap and gum wrappers. And she wants to bring the second coming of Armageddon, but the first one never happened because she is dumb. She gets distracted easily by promiscuous sex and hard drugs. We all know somebody like that.
Excellent. All right. So
yeah, you're just laughing. You're just like, oh my God.
I love it. I love it because I've watched your stream. So I know what Demon Bitch is about. So I just love hearing you explain it to my audience. It's like I hope you guys and gals are ready for this because she's about to hold no punches and we're about to get right into it.
I swear
I just provided the link, direct link to her store. We're streaming live right now on Facebook, on Show Fuse Media's Facebook page, on my YouTube page, and my Twitch account. You can find all that stuff find me all through Most Epic Art. One thing I forgot to do that I got to make sure I do every episode is shout out my Patreon members, because without them I wouldn't have a Patreon account. So shout out to Andrew Duggan, Hilly Dennis, Bradley Arney, Tom Kelly, and Unlikely Heroes Studios for making my Patreon be alive. If you want to be a Patreon member, search for me on Most Epic Art. I have tons of rewards on there that you guys can join and tune into. Now, we have a lot of people tuned in and making comments and stuff. Christy, I'm about to start getting into some of this already. Amanda says, hey, Christy. J-Man, what's up? Cameron says, yeah. I think he might have just been agreeing with what you're saying. Chiron said, volume books. Yes. This will be the volume 3 of Chat and Draw. The Chat and Draw episodes have been coming up so fast, I've been able to stack it up. And I just want to have a lot of content to drop whenever we announce how we're going to do them. Now, if you were part of Daniel Caliban's Kickstarter, you got the whip edition of volume 1. So you got kind of a sneak peek, but you have not got the official, final, bells and whistles edition that's coming. Brad Arney, you want the books, man? I put the links in there. Brad Arney is a huge comic book connoisseur, man. He loves them. So, Brad, I put the link in there. Go to it, man. Go to it. Dan says hi. Cameron says nice. I think he's agreeing, talking to what you're talking about. Hashtag Hail Christie.
Oh, Pops. Yeah, I saw him a little bit briefly. He's a really cool guy. Hail Christie.
And then I said hello to everyone. All right, everybody, make sure you ask questions, provide comments, and we will get to them as soon as we can. J-Man, what up, J-Man? Let's get J-Man. J-Man's been watching. I think J-Man has seen every single episode of Chat and Draw. He's very loyal and dedicated to the team. And low-level demon. Oh, Danny J. Quick said a low-level demon from where? Go ahead and repeat that.
The 13th pit of hell where people throw their dog shit and gum wrappers. I hated some of these girls a lot. They were fucking assholes.
So can you walk us through? I'm about to get ready to get the artwork up here because I did start it. Now, I'm putting my twist on the character. I already got Christy's permission. I did not want to offend her or violate her character or anything like that, but she said I could put my twist on it. And so here we go up here.
Fuck. I wonder what the hell this is going to turn out to be. I mean, the thing is like, I like every time people draw her, and some people draw her like really good and like really anatomically correct to even sexy. I'm like, holy shit, okay, that's better. And some of them draw her kind of closer to what I draw her. It really depends. But I love watching this because I love just going like, yeah, fuck you guys. Not you guys drawing it, but just like all the girls that ever hurt me. And now people say, I remember the times when people would just say, you need to let it go. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. And I'm like, really? Okay. And then, but I'd be madder and more upset while this person's going to get away with shit. So I just said, you know what? I'm just going to go draw all my piss and anger on it. And it's like, fuck y'all. And guess what ended up happening? Like all these same people that told me to get over it, they ended up like fucking just going like, oh, this is funny. I want more. I want more. Hey, why don't you have Demon Bitch do this? Why don't you have Demon Bitch do that? I'm like, you know, so if anybody tells you don't do it, you should probably not listen to them.
Yeah. Because it's yours, man. You absolutely own this creature and what she does. And I think it's hilarious, the things that you put her through. And, I mean, you've got that Sunday comic strip feel with a demon character. Because, I mean, like, comic strips are all sunshines and raisins and feel goods. And then you flip the newspaper and there's Demon Bitch right there smacking you in the face.
Yeah, I tend to do that with my comics. I think I'm kind of like that as a person, but then people have told, I've been told, like, I kind of go, like, I'm kind of amazed at how I, like, interact with people. It's hilarious because some people are going, like, one guy even said to me, wow, I was, like, surprised you were nice. I'm like, well, how come? And they said, well, with a name like Demon Bitch, you'd think, like, you were hardcore or, like, razor sharp or angry all the time. I'm like, no. But it's kind of funny. I think there's this paradox. Like, usually people, and not all of them, but what I've noticed is that usually people that draw really cute, pretty things all the time, they have some real big personal problems. So that's an escape. But the other one is like, you know, other people are like the people that draw the dark, scary, fucked up shit. Most of them are actually pretty well adjusted because they got it out of their system.
I never looked at things like that.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I'll just take something and I'll make fun of it and make it. And there are times like I've drawn shit. Like I've been drawing like some, I guess, political cartoons because I just say political, quote unquote, because I don't pick a side. I just draw what sticks in my head the most about the news. And I guess it's maybe commentary on the news feeds, but it's funny. Like, I'll draw like a lot of the rioting and a lot of the other shit today. And people are like, oh, I don't want to touch that, when they get into the whole, like, team this, team that. And I just draw them like, y'all are fucking fucked up, people, So, like, I'll even draw stuff like including, like, I drew a cartoon today shortly and I released it with an announcement of your show. And I was like, oh man, are they going to get pissed off? But it's like, there are times, like, even Johnny Ryan, like, if you ever check his shit out, Johnny Ryan is like really uber offensive, right? And even he goes through periods where he's like, oh man, maybe I don't know if I should draw this. And it turned out he should have. So it's just like, when I start feeling kind of a little bit nervous about, should I put this out there? I'm like, oh yeah, I should. Because people end up actually fucking loving it. That's the funny part.
Yeah. Do you think that comes mostly because some people are just, not, I don't want to diss anybody, but just not like, brave enough to go out there on that limb that somebody else took, that is willing to be that daring, that bold, and, so that they take what they can get?
I think so. It's kind of interesting because, like, I had an experience where I almost died. I think I touched upon that before when I came on your show before.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a pancreatic tumor last year. And I'm going to tell you this, like, when you've been told you have a mass of 6 inches in your pancreas and you're thinking that they think that it's malignant, and then it graduates to you very well may have diabetes, to, oh, you're fine now, and they had to reroute my whole digestive system and remove my gallbladder. And you have the weirdest, like, freaking, like, emotional feelings out of it. Like, fuck, my gallbladder is gone. I kind of miss it. And I actually felt really sad about that.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening is that I guess it kind of whittled away, like, I don't give a shit anymore. And that's not to be confused with, like, just being totally disregarding. You just kind of have to get into that mode of, like, certain things don't really bother you anymore because they're no longer important. That's the thing what I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
So when but when I do Demon Bitch, it's like, I'll just think of something even like just ridiculous or stupid, and yet people love it. They just love that shit. And it's like, one time I saw the stupidest things when I was there. I have a lot of also zany friends like me. So I made a bandana when COVID was starting. And it was with a t-shirt company. And what I found out later is they kind of had to do it in a hurry. So to stay open, they had to be deemed an essential business. So they had to do bandanas and face masks. Well, the face mask, the traditional face mask, before, like, when this all started, it was getting too much. It was like literally $30 to produce one mask. And it was kind of ridiculous, right? And like the art, it wasn't going to let me do the art how I wanted to on it, right? So I just went ahead and went with a bandana, right? And one of my friends just called it a cum rag, which is the best thing ever. But it's really nice. I actually bought a shirt sample and I tested it out. It's very breathable. Like, it'll go around my big ass head right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what it says is that I saw somebody stupid like say this. I like seriously said, bitch, I don't know why. I my opinion of you has gotten even lower, which I can't believe. But it says maybe we should take DMT and talk to the coronavirus. Like, a person actually said that, and it's got a little coronavirus on top, and it's got her puking and shit. But it's actually a really cool thing, and people like it. And I said, hey, even after all this, you can still use it to wipe up cat piss, and somehow that's a great big selling point. People love that. And then and then also I just have a really fucked up sense of humor, so I started doing shit like the pancreas tits, which is a 3-inch soft enamel pin. That was after that's like half the size scale. So it's it's 1 to 2 scale, I guess, if that's what you call it in models, of my pancreatic tumor. And then there's another one called the Plague Doctor that I did during this. It was on a Kickstarter that I did, and she glows in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. And then this is Cove Thick 19. And it's funny because, like, as I told you, random shit will pop in my head. And one of them is like, and it was so funny because remember Belle Biv DeVoe? Poison?
Yeah, I remember that one. I think you were doing that one like right before the last time you came on my show.
Yeah, and I called it like Never Trust a Big Butt and a Smile. That girl is poison. And then I just drew of Cove Thick 19. Somebody got mad at me about this. Like this one woman that I just like. I never like to say Becky or Karen because I think that's too standard. But what I like is just saying this bitch because that's all you need to say, like this bitch. So this woman looked at it and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did a misogynistic and racist type of thing in the form of a virus." I looked at her and I went, "Shut up," and I blocked her.
Like, people, there's a lot of sensitive people out here.
Yeah, and they should really understand there's things that you really don't need to be that butthurt over.
Mm-hmm.
Before anybody says to me, "You shouldn't tell me to go shut up," and it's my feelings, I say, okay, fine, your feelings are valid, but you can't be a fucking asshole about it with everybody. You know, everybody's going through something. You have to learn this thing like, okay, maybe that person isn't trying to go and fuck you over. Mm-hmm. I think that's the problem is like we think everybody's going to fuck us over or hurt us or abuse us. It's like, okay, stop. You know, and while I'm all for like recognizing toxicity in people, you don't need to fucking call every living person a toxic individual. And more often than not, I see people saying toxic like in a weird way to kind of like dismiss people that think differently than them.
Yeah.
It's really weird. And it's gotten to a point where it's making even people on the same side eat each other. And it's like, well, okay, guys, what did that fucking accomplish, you know? Right. Yeah.
I think issues happen and people have disagreements and stuff. And, you know, I think there's a side and it has a point and then it gets carried away or it gets blown out. And then like everyone's looking for that. And any little thing that's the hint of it gets attacked and blown out of proportion.
Well, it's gotten to a point where like everybody's triggered about something. And it's like, okay, I'm from the 80s, right? I grew up during the 80s. And I'm thinking of this in retrospect. They were saying, oh, the 80s were like a selfish period of time. I said, they were the me generation. I said, oh, never trust a big button. So Danny's like laughing at that shit. But for me, I think like in retrospect, the 80s were just people like never stifle an artist, rule number one. And they said, damn, Christie needs to do stand up. That's funny. But I think for me, it's like this 80s were like, we just knew who we were. I mean, shit wasn't perfect then, but like the level of getting upset, I'm like, sometimes I look at some of these fuckers and I'm like, how have you not had an aneurysm yet?
Mm-hmm.
Like they go like, well, I've had panic attacks and I suffer from anxiety. It's like, I remember that Mad TV sketch, like where she says, maybe I just worry about being buried in a box. And he says, stop it. You know, Bob Newhart. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, it's like, well, I just think of myself being buried. Stop it. He said, why would you think about being buried in a box? That's just awful. Well, I just can't in box-like things. It's like, stop it. Well, I put my fingers in my mouth to throw up because I have it. Stop it. And she got upset with him. And she said to him, I don't like this therapy. And it's like, you know, sometimes getting past things are not going to be easy. You know, you really have to let old stories and shit go. And then if anybody even suggests that, anybody's like, I don't care what it is. After a while, people get all, oh, you don't have a right to invalidate me. It's like, no, I'm not invalidating you, but fuck all. Do you want to live like this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. It's like, do I want to live at the very time that I had been assaulted? It did happen to me. Do I keep want to reliving that? It's like PTSD always has a way of bringing you back into it. You have to really go and work your way through to your mind to let go of that story. It doesn't mean you never talk about it. It doesn't mean you never like feel bad about it. But it's like, okay, this is a part of my life. I can move past this and have a healthy life. And, you know, having this concept, you're forever broken and destroyed. It's like, that's borderline abusive if anybody ever tells you that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can be better than normal or better than what you once were. I mean.
So do you think Do you think the mentality that you have right now, that you're speaking on, the way that you move forward from things, do you think that strove out of you being sick and realizing where things could be for you?
I think it was a part of a step process. I will say that. I've had lifelong things to deal with stuff. I think with anybody, some of them were pretty gnarly. Some of them were not so gnarly. And I kind of, I mean, I wasn't perfect. I didn't master it all at once, but I always had this desire. I know I'm going to be better than this. I know somehow I'm going to get past this. I just need to get past this. But the biggest frustration in my 20s and 30s was, how do I do it?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that once I learned more in life, I figured out how to do it. And I talk to people how I do it. Now, I'm not trying to be like, oh, if you don't do it my way, you're not right. But I'm just like, you might as well give it a try. What have you got to lose? And I always advocate people go to therapy and shit like that, or do what they can in a healthy sense to make them better.
Mm-hmm.
Get past things. I never say just get over it, because usually that's done by people. I was told get over it about these bitches. And it was like, wait a minute, this isn't good. So I get to go step it down and watch them do it, never hold them accountable. Fuck this, So that's why I sat down and I did the cartoons I did. And I realized, like, you just really got to do what's healthy for yourself. That's why it's like, I think in the 80s, yeah, there was the selfishness, but the superficiality was there. But I mean, that's with every generation. But what I realize is that the superficiality only exists if you don't know who you are and it's yourself, and you're secure in yourself. I've noticed that very insecure people are the ones that are the most selfish. Like, they're the ones that go on and on about empathy and kindness and shit. But then they expect everybody to coddle to their own perfect thing of how the world should be. And it's like, I'm sorry, the world is not going to treat you with kid gloves. It's not going to be just other people. It's just going to be life. What if your grandma dies? That's not really anybody's fault, except whatever it is a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, let's say like your house burns down, or you get sick. Like with me, I lived a healthy life, but I had a pancreatic tumor. So there you go. I did everything right. Does that mean that I go and fucking don't do anything healthy anymore because that didn't work out? I said, no, it's just because of that, my body bounced back a lot better than if I just lived a very extremely unhealthy life.
Okay.
But yeah, but I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you just have to evaluate it. But I mean, really, it's like, end all, like, do you really want to be happy? And happiness doesn't mean that you have to have a perfect life. I mean, it doesn't. And like, your message of happiness and your definition of happiness is really different from anybody else. Like, I've had people say, well, you shouldn't go after this, you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of peer pressure you. And I think that's even worse now, because people are into this whole, like, we're going to cancel you if you don't think how we do. If you don't, like, okay, you mean what's more healthier is that a person's reputation precedes them. Like, if they're known for being a dick, or they're known for being this or that, like the other thing, it's like, well, that will ruin them. But if you just basically just want to say, oh, this guy is just this, oh, this person is just this, then, well, fuck it. People unfortunately lie too,
Mm-hmm.
You have to use your own personal judgment. And sometimes people just get this fucking weird ass thing, like everything has to be perfect to have them happy. I said, well, you're going to be really upset for a very long time.
This is why I like having Christy on my show. She just gets completely fucking real.
I mean, it's just like, I've had, really a lot of bullies, all you want to do is control you. And it's not the people that push you around, but there's a lot of people nowadays that will fucking try to emotionally blackmail you into shit. And you're like, you know what? I don't care about your fucking shit anymore. I have my life to live. If you're that unhappy being around me, then don't be around me. You're fucking pain in the ass anyway. So get out of my face, So, I mean, it's like this, and I don't go out of my way to be a pain in the ass in everybody's face, but I'll draw what I need to draw, I'll say what I need to say, but, I don't go like, well, I keep it real because I don't need to declare it. I just am who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let other people think that of me because, as I said, there's a balance with, like, you don't give a fuck what people think about you, and you do, it's good to be aware of what people think about you, but you also have to be aware, is it the right type of people that are aware? Because, like, I had, when you're younger, you tend to be around people that get really jealous and really messed up and really kind of crappy to you. And that's what you have to learn through experience, is not to be around people like that or put you down or try to go and give you fucking shitty advice. Like, a lot of women give each other shitty advice. Like, they'll say, like, oh, if a man doesn't pay attention to you immediately, then it's this and this. I'm like, okay, all right, but what if he's like busy at work? Oh, well, he should take his time. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that to a point. Same with a woman, but sometimes I get kind of involved in my own shit,
Yeah.
and sometimes I need to be poked or reminded, or it depends on the person. So it's like, I used to have like girls like give me shit about like wanting to like be in a monogamous relationship even, and they were like, oh well, no, you need a man, forget that guy, you need to do this, you need to do that, and blah blah blah. And I said, wait a minute, bitch, aren't you like taking a new dude home every night and then you complain about what kind of mediocre dick you get? Like seriously, like what the fuck's wrong with you? Like fine, you want to live that way, great. And hey, if you want to take multiple dudes home, if that makes you happy, do it. But apparently it's not making you happy, so you're trying to make me in like what misery loves company. So it's just like you just have to learn to kind of separate yourself from that. It's like, what do you really want? And just do the shit that really would put you in that place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think people are too into going like they've confused confidence with arrogance, which is like I'm confident in doing this. Oh, then you're arrogant. You don't care about other people. Like it's like, well, if I care about myself, that means something, And usually people that are arrogant, they care too much about what other people think of them. Confident people is like, look, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. If you want to be around me, fine. If you don't, whatever. I mean, that's it. I've already told you who I am.
Pop said you're his sensei.
I think people said that.
Who said it? So,
Yeah.
with this thought process, and the way you are with this character, how many? I'm sure because you've done a lot of stories with her or whatnot. How much of the content are you basing off of real life situations? Because people are here all the time, and you are always going to run into somebody that is a jerk, that is an a-hole of some sort. So, how much of your content would you say in your book with Demon Bitch is actually a reflection of something you've experienced?
I would say almost 100%. There are other ones that kind of follow the logic to the opposite end. Like with some of the girls, they didn't really say some of the things that they did, but just how they were as people, that would actually make sense for them to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because they were kind of like that type of person. That's the best way I can say about it. But some of them are like, a lot of it is like what I've heard somebody say or what I've seen somebody say that I was like, that is incredibly stupid, but that fits in their personality type. Or like if I'd say, oh yeah, this person, she is a terrible person, she's filthy. And then you just say, well, she sleeps in a bed of dog shit. That's an obvious exaggeration. I don't think she really does, but it's logical within that kind of thing of unhygienic anything.
Okay.
For example, I think that's like an oversimplification, but that's it.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's it. She's looking real good too.
Thank you. So,
yeah.
what kind? So obviously the book is available for purchase. J-Man, so you're winning people over, Christy. You got Morgan doing the claps. J-Man says you have a PhD for real. Preach.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's like, thank you very much. I think people are kind of DB 2.0 right here. Yeah, the sexy DB, But I will say that I think people are they don't do satire. They're just too trapped to being either mean, but they don't really want to kind of translate it into their own being. They kind of pander. And this is the weird thing when you're making stuff for like to sell. I think it's natural to want to pander because you want your stuff to be popular. But the problem is that I've noticed, and this is from my own personal experience, is that people will tend to kind of know about that. People kind of disregard, but I think acknowledge the fact that we're kind of intuitive. And if we know something is fucking pandering to us, we really won't get into that. Or if we fully pander to those same things, we'll totally be into it. But I think more often than not, I think there's a lot of really good talent. There's a lot of really good storytelling, but there's also a lot of pandering, even more so now with social media. So a lot of people do stupid shit like that. Like they'll just draw this like, ho, 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 I did this in solidarity with this, and this. And I'm just thinking, God, this art is good, but it just seems like such a vapid piece of shit. And it's not because I'm trying to say that to put down the artist. There's really good artists out there. But sometimes I just feel like when they're doing that, it's like, God, you're even doing this movement a disservice because you really don't give a fuck about the movement. You just want the likes. You don't really give a fuck about the people in this movement. You just want the likes. Oh, but I really believe that. It's like, I know you do, but it's like, do you really talk to the people that it's supposed to help? Do you think it helps them? You know, that type of shit. Do you really listen to other people, or are you just fucking grandstanding all around? I see that a lot. And I'm getting to a point where it's like, there's a thing to do with soapbox. I think we all have our soapbox. I mean, fuck. I mean, what I'm doing right now is kind of like a soapbox, but I'm just talking about my observations of people. It's just sometimes I think, like, especially with some of the woke crowd, I mean, I think we can all relate with this. I think a lot of them are fucking idiots. I mean, they just go and scream and yell at people until they're blue in the face. And it's like, now people are burnt out about it. They don't want to deal with it anymore. And it's like, then how can you effectively deal with it when you're screaming at people all the time? I mean, that's true with anything, but it just gets more condescending, personally, to me. And I think it's more effective if it's more to the individuals. Now, everybody's like, oh, how can I do something? I said, you'd be amazed at what happens when you fix your own world, how much the world gets better. Because nobody knows your own world but you.
Right.
And I think that's a good place to start. It's the easiest place to start. Because there are sometimes when people, when they take up a cause and you look into their backgrounds, they really don't have much going on in their personal lives. They're really upset. They don't have a good family life. They feel really empty inside. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I understand like helping out at charities and things and taking up causes. I don't think that's bad either, but it seems to be almost compensatory for actually them being as people. They're not whole without that. It's like, unless it wasn't for that movement or whatever, they're not that person. They're not a whole individual. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would say with Dr. King, he knew who he was before he did his movement. That was a personal thing for him, and he personally did it and started it. Sometimes with people, I think they just do it because they're upset about something, and then they just kind of go with it, and it gets out of control. They don't have a clear vision of what they want to do. They think they do, but they don't.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a difficult thing to talk about because everybody's like really on tenterhooks about everything, and I understand. But that's what I've observed. It's like the heavy hitters back in that time, they had a clear vision, whether or not you agreed with it or whatever. They had an idea of where to go. I think this generation right now, they kind of don't. I mean, some of them, how they act, it's like, I'm fighting dragons and shit. But it's like, how to really do the things that it takes to get there. It's not pretty. It's very hard. But they kind of make up this sort of like, I think, a fetishization of martyrdom in their head. And instead, it doesn't need to be that way. You can actually do other things that don't require as much damage or pain or anything. Oh, no, I've got to do that. It's like there's this also weird concept that pain makes something better. And it's like, I can understand overcoming pain that makes something better, but the pain itself sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't do shit. I mean, it's like I could suffer in pain all the time and be depressed half the time. That's what happened to me one time. That didn't make shit any better. It didn't make me any more noble than anybody else. It's just when I chose to live every day like, okay, I'm going to go get past this shit. Okay, somehow I'm going to get better. One day, I will be not doing this anymore, or not feeling this way anymore, or not going this. This character and you're sitting on your left shoulder and an angel sitting on your right are both persuading you. I don't know what it is, man, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, with all the people that are younger and shit, they feel lost. It's like, go find the answer with yourself. External people, I think they're trying to look for an external person to guide them, because I don't think they were ever told. I think what is the thing with guidance is that you know the difference between right and wrong. And what I mean is, like, what is right and wrong for you? You know,
I'm definitely feeling like, and I never really thought about it that way before, but I think that's a good point that you made about like Martin Luther King and like how you said, the big hitters, like they definitely knew who they were when they spoke, when they went out and protested and stuff. They knew who they were inside and out, which is why people followed them or circled around them and wanted to go behind them. Besides the fact of, you know, they're speaking on these things that we want to see changed or whatnot, but they had a confident conviction of who they are.
Yeah, and then like nowadays I see a lot of that shit, and it's like, hive mind, you don't think like us. I'm like, oh my God, people. Like, you had Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King, right? Two very, very different people. But you could understand where they were coming from because they had a sense of self. You know, a lot of people don't. a lot of people think that their sense of self, it should be tied up in the movement that they're in. It's like, no, you need to figure out what's an actual conviction for yourself, whether that what you've been programmed to think is good. What have you been through that is good, that makes you think, you know what, I need to do that because I know this will be a good thing. This could be any morality, like church or whatever. I mean, yeah, you could be influenced by shit like that. But what makes you you is like your own conclusions. Like, did you ever stop and think, maybe this is something that would be there? Did you ever contemplate, maybe this is a different way to do it? Instead of screaming at people. Because like I've noticed that people that scream at people all the time, they are the least secure bastards on the planet. They just try to strong arm people into believing what they want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I have run into so many people like that. And it's like I started laughing to myself because I get to a point where I'm just like sort of done with that, you know? It's like, you don't need to I mean, honestly, getting that angry and screaming all the time, for me, it actually just wants me to like not talk to that person. It's like, why the hell do I want to talk to you?
Right.
It's like, you're being unreasonable. You're being an ass. I don't want to talk about it with you. It's like, how do I know you're not going to hear me? And it's like, they're going, oh, I'm like, all right, go away. You know, I can't deal with gibbering and stupid right now. It's like, that's the kind of thing probably sound like a cranky old lady. Like, I can't deal with gibbering and stupid. Go away. You know? But I'm kind of like that. It's like, I think maybe that's also why on the internet, if people come at me, and it's, you know, it's weird because like ever since I became that way, there haven't been really many people that come at me on the internet. And if they do, it's just like, go away or I mess with them, right? Depending on what my mood is. But I've noticed it's like, I don't really care what the fuck you feel or think about me. I know I'm not being hurtful to anybody. And if you have a problem with my shit, you can talk to me about it like a normal person, or you can just go away. Just scroll on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people
are like, so if you're here to make a comment, or voice your opinion, you better be here for the discussion too.
Yeah.
Like, don't just come on here just to rage on my page or rage on my post or whatever. Be here for the discussion that comes after you make your comment.
Yeah, like, tell me why you thought about that this is the thing. And even then, like, don't come at me like, oh, I should change to make you happy. It's like, no, fuck you. Then that's not going to make me even want to consider what you have to do. Mm-hmm. You know, and that I think is kind of offensive to me about a lot of the news shit nowadays, because it's like, oh, if you don't follow it this way, then, you know, you're a terrible person. It's like, all right, fuck off. I don't care. I'm just not going to be part of this anyway. I'm just too tired to fucking deal with this shit. You know, yeah. I'm going to do what I want to do because I spent my time being miserable trying to please other people. And you know what? That never works because you please no one. So it's like one of those things. Oh, God, Pops is saying you and Tony go away. So, for example, there's this one guy, he tried to sex talk at me, but his English was so bad that all he says, like, I'm prominent or something. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever, dude, go away. By the way, I like how you're shading in the gloves and kind of putting that black shit in there, and it looks like it's there to find. That's neat. I might try that. So, what program are you using?
Procreate.
Oh, wow. Is that on a iPad, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I heard really good things about it. I just have not gotten into Procreate because A, I don't have an iPad that does that. And B, I tried the iPencil and it felt just so weirdly plastic. I know there's screen protectors you can use that feel more like paper, but I kind of needed more of a thing, so I got it a Surface. But going back, like, what was I saying? It was, you know, I mean, just doing this shit, it's like, I just noticed the more of myself, the more genuine people come towards me. It's just the thing of being genuine, really. And I'd like to think that, like, any leader that has worth their salt has that around them.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, a person once said to me, you know, don't focus on getting rid of something. Focus on what you want or what could be better for you. And, you know, at first that like sounds like crap, but then you just realize, you know, that actually works, because if you focus on the negative shit, we got to get rid of poverty, right? For example, we don't like that. Then we'll do these things that don't exactly work to get poverty down, you know, or let's say, I don't want to be fat. Okay, well, that's great. But then you focus on not wanting to be fat and not enjoying your life, but yet being healthy, you tend to get more and more fat, because it sort of stresses you out more. You're not enjoying it anymore. So I think I do believe that you should always be able to enjoy what you do, but you need to go out of your way to enjoy it. Or I mean, for me, like I don't think we enjoy doing chores or new habits because it's a chore, it's a job. But once it's not a job, it's something we can do easily. So I wonder to myself, maybe we should view it that way. And it won't always be easy, but at least it will be easier to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but this guy, like, he hit on me. And then he said, do it, be nasty. Like he said it in one of my art pieces that I posted up. And he started doing that. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. So I went ahead and I was talking with one of my buddies, Tony, and I said, hey, Tony, because I know he'd been having a rough week at work. I said to him, hey, Tony, you want to go and like fuck with someone for me? And he's a big white, like bald guy with like a beard. Nicest guy ever. Oh God. He went up to the guy and he said, hey, I'll split you in half.
What? I'll just split you in half?
Yeah, I'll just split you in half, because the guy was trying to talk sexy to me. And I said, oh, you sure you want to do that? So I said, I've introduced you to Tony. He's shaved and clean. And he's a buddy of mine. And Tony said, I'll split you in half.
Mm.
And the guy was like, no, I'm not gay. No, I said, no, you wanted to be nasty. You got it, big boy. Come on. And he says, like, don't you want it? You shouldn't have been. And he's like, don't you want it? I thought you wanted it. Like, he's not gay, but he was really fucking with the dude. Like, I thought you wanted it and all that. You better not ask being nasty without knowing what you really want, big boy. And then the guy just said, you and Tony go away. And he blocked us. Oh, people were laughing. Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of women, they should take to mocking their harassers. I said, you need to take to mocking your harasser. It's the best thing ever. Because I think harassers kind of expect you to run away, cry, or get in their face. When you start mocking them, it just sort of like, they're like, what the fuck? I mean, of course, use your own personal judgment. I always say that. God damn, she's horrible. And I mean that in a great way possible. Take a champ, yeah. So it's like I just left, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I've always been kind of a little fucker that way. So I would just like draw stuff. Oh my God, what the fuck are you drawing on her head? What is that?
I'm hoping it's, well, I'm going to connect it all together for blood.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be a cum stain because she's nasty that way. I know that sounds awful, but I made the fucking character gross as hell. I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, where does my mind go? Serve justice like a hero, right? I mean, it's funny because like a lot of girls are like, "You're my hero for fucking with this dude." I said, "Of course I fuck with this dude." Like I got into it with this one guy, and he basically, I think he called me a cunt, and I told him he was like, I said that's kind of. He said, "You better check yourself, cunt." I'm saying, "Oh, you a wife beater too, fuckhead, keyboard warrior, bitch. Come here, And I think it made him upset. I said that.
You think it made him upset?
Oh, I know it made him. I think he punched his pillow for days afterwards. I just like, God damn, you're just a weak little bitch. This is turning out real good, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't think they respond well to that, huh? Thought they were in control of the situation, and then you turn it around and like, I can play games too.
It's like, oh, you hurt my feelings. You said bad words to me on the keyboard. Well, they too can play at that game. So I was just fucking with him so bad. I was just like showing him, yeah, this is racist and that's racist. So I called him and he got mad at me and called me a cunt, and I was like laughing at him. I mean, he was really I was really pointing out some actual facts, and then I just said to him, oh, well, and I said, yeah, and he says, you better check yourself. I'm like, oh, what are you trying to say? You wife beater and shit? Because I mean, when you look at a normal dude, if they're angry at you and you're not being aggressive to them, they will say, back off, stop, wait, They will never say, check yourself. Check yourself is more of like if they're trying to be more aggressive than you. So that to me is something, No one humble, those are the weak. No, yeah, they're kind of idiots. What is she doing, man? This is nuts. This kind of reminds me of fucking like, Batman and of Joker and Batgirl. With like where he's drawing the fucking lipstick on the blood on her face.
Yeah.
It was really funny how fucking people got butthurt over that. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of upsetting, but that's the Joker. It's like, he's not a good person. Like, did anybody ever think that? Oh,
have
that's
you
too much. Oh! Like, it's perfectly in line with the Joker.
have you seen the Harley Quinn cartoon show?
I heard it's good. I watched some clips of it. It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, the Joker is completely like no at all. He's terrible. He's like how that relationship actually is. Like they don't show all that. They don't show it in the comic book the way that like the cartoon does. And you're like, that's exactly how I imagine that would be being with the Joker.
Well, it's like Harley's crazy, but she's likable, right? She's
Yeah,
not. She's not a person that actually just kills people just to kill people. Like she actually has some sort of moral code with her. But the Joker, he just does whatever the fuck he wants. Like he's just a fucking piece of shit, you know?
yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. He just decides to do it, and if it's right, then he'll do it. You know? I mean, it's just kind of like Harley kind of follows him, but it's kind of like she's not in line 100% with it. Actually, the one that I heard that sort of sounds the most like the Joker is Punchline,
Hmm.
because she's kind of psychotic like his ass too. Because that's his new girlfriend.
Oh yeah. I heard about. Yeah, I haven't read any books with him yet or her yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
I want to go check them out.
I do like her. It's like it seems like I like the design at least. So I just did Punchline in general. So yeah, I'm just looking at this fucking shit. This looks pretty cool, man. I like how you're doing the blood and shit too.
Thank you. Well, I figured she needed some touches. She's a demon.
Oh, Pops is
Like,
going, Christie, I see a variant cover here. Maybe, dude. We'll see.
like I know she sucks at her job, but I think every once in a while she gets a win.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I think what is interesting is that Harley Quinn is redeemable. She's not redeemable in the traditional hero sense, but she is like she kind of learns from her shit. You know, you gotta give her that. You know,
Yeah.
she actually, in her own way, tries to be a better person. Like when I guess the dude Zeus like sexually harasses her, it's like, oh wait, no, thank you. And he's like, well, you'll never be anything. She says, you know what? No, when I said that's an oddly shaped dick, it is. You really should get it fucking checked out. I actually did that to some dude too. Like he sent me a dick pic. I had no idea. He was on my friends list. He was mum for a while. Then he pops up his cock. And I look up, I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at this thing and like for a sec, like imagine this taking all the space of like maybe 10, 15 seconds. So I look at this and I just type in, wow, that looks really malformed. Because that was the first shit that like popped into my mind. Like literally it looked like he had, the first two words in my head were like penile cancer. So I just said that to him. I said, wow, that looks really malformed. And then a minute said, oh, and a second later I said, oh, are you okay? You know, what's wrong with you? And then he deleted that pic. He deleted the dick pic. He said, I'm sorry, I actually sent it to you.
Mm.
And of course, what did I do? I basically, and he said, what do you mean, what problem? But luckily I'd screenshot it with the dick. And then I drew a kraken on top of it. And then I have this thing called, I have this sorry. I told you guys Merciless. That's hilarious. So I have to say that when I did draw the Kraken and stuff, and I kind of cut out the guy's name. I just censored out the dick pic and I showed what he wrote. I said, nothing is more stupid than some moron that tries to like hook up with me, like sending me a dick pic. And then I posted and so many people were laughing. And then all these women started coming out at me and said, I really need to know what this looks like. I need to know what really this dick looks like. I'm like, you don't want to, it's really bad. And they just said, no, show me. I'm like, okay. So let's say I probably sent that to more women than this dude ever could imagine. And all of them said the same thing. They were going like, oh my God, it's really bad.
Oh wow, that's
Every
embarrassing.
one of them said, what the fuck's wrong with the head of the dick? And then and I said, it's Chernobyl dick. And then one of the women was British. I said, oh, you mean Chernobyl, because it's a play off Bell which is dickhead in British. So, I mean, they say dickhead, but that's like the slang for dickhead.
Mm.
So, yeah, it was kind of amazing. And I showed quite a few of my guy friends this. It got to a point where Facebook actually flagged me for spamming people with it. So eventually I had to say, guys, you need to friend me and just like fucking like take to the account because you need to take a look at this. And they said, okay. So they're like, oh, fuck. Like every single girl fucking went, that is nasty. What kind of fucking cock is that? Where's his balls? Like it was just all sorts of shit.
I'm pretty sure he will never do that again.
I figure I have sent that picture enough around. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not for sending nudies of exes and shit. Okay, I'm gonna make that clear. But if a person sends you an unsolicited dick pic, have them at it. Just fuck. Just do it. Fuck them, because they're the equivalent of indecent guys that do the guys in the raincoats. If you guys remember, that would go and expose themselves to you. So yeah, fuck them. So so the thing is that like a lot, I swear to God, the moment that dude actually drops trowel with a young lady, she will look at him and say, I know this penis. That's you. You're Chernobyl. You're Chernobyl dick. Have your friend Tony beat him to death with a dildo. What a way to go. Well, I already had Tony scare another one.
All right, here is her website again. I'm going to put the store in there.
Yay. This looks awesome, man.
Thank you. And then we're going to do the replay. I want you to tell, because I literally just finished it.
Oh, it's awesome, dude.
And here is the direct link to Christie's store where you guys can purchase Demon Bitch. This is my version of her. And we're going to watch the replay.
She's fucking disgusting, by the way.
Well, I figured I needed to go for that.
I mean, take that as a compliment. It's like disgusting. Like sometimes when people do fan art of her and it's like, God, that's awful. I said, by the way, that's a good thing. I mean, I'll even, if I need a compliment, like, oh, it's kind of sexy. It's kind of funny. Now I'm thinking about it. You kind of like put the Joker in her in a way as we were talking about it.
I think that had a little bit of influence on me.
Yeah, like she's like the smile and all that. And I imagine her phone was like one of those phones, like it looks like it's all kind of silver, but when you take a closer look, it's all beat up and it's like nasty. And like the phone can get like nasty, like fucking dirt and all that.
Yeah.
She never fucking wipes down her phone at all.
Yeah, and I put a little middle finger on the phone for the phone logo instead of like an Apple logo.
Oh yeah, like a fuck you, like fucking like, hey, fuck this logo thing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so bad. I mean, by the way, guys, I'm not dissing his work. It's like, fuck, that's bad. Like, he's like a fucking terrible person. Actually, she reminds me of one of the bitches that makes me think of Demon Bitch. She does that. She's like an Instagram model, and she does that fucking froggy 3/4 eye turn look, like what the fuck are you? Like, she's like going, look at how cute I am. And said, God damn, you look like a Holocaust victim with alopecia.
Wow.
You're like, God damn. Like, that's what she looks like. This is not, yeah, that's what she looks like. No shame to anybody else. Oh, yeah, TikTok. TikTok's kind of stupid because, like, for a while they would do this thing like, yes, we're doing a Holocaust meme. We pretend we're people that died in the Holocaust and what happened to me. I'm like, and they dress all bruised and all fucked up. And I'm like, please don't do that. That's really kind of sick, actually.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm actually making a lesson plan on that for my students. Because I saw the article where the girl was talking about that wasn't her intention for it to be taken the way it was, and for her to get attacked how she was, because obviously it wasn't the smartest thing. She really was trying to get a message out there. So like I'm making a lesson plan with it, saying like intention versus reception. So doesn't matter what your intention is. What matters how it's received. So you got to be careful of those type of things.
Not to diss young people, because I'm guessing this chick must have been like in her like maybe 20. Please, okay, when you do shit like this, don't, because you do not have the life experience right now to figure out what people might be pissed off about. Like, for example, PETA. I think it was 2009, 2008. I will tell you this. People may not remember it because it was really fucked up. PETA got it into their heads. Of course, you probably heard of the Holocaust on your plate thing, and they showed the Holocaust victim on the billboard, right? And the Jewish Anti-Defamation League got mad about that, right?
Right.
Okay, they did another one. They didn't apparently learn. They did one called Animal Slavery Equals Human Slavery. And they put pictures of all the American slaves in chains right next to the shackled animals and said, this is the same. And they said, how come all the Black community wants to beat our ass? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should not do that.
Wow.
If you Google that, you will find it, I'm sure. I think it was in Maryland that they did that shit. And like literally the person at PETA like had this blank look like, I don't know why that they would get so angry. I mean, this is about slavery. And I'm like, This guys, look, if you don't really understand the fullness of the thing, please, please don't do the thing.
Don't do the thing. I would not do the thing.
It,
Yeah, I would stay away from that thing.
I mean, if you look at it, I'm like, oh my God. It's like, here's the thing. I don't have a problem offending people, but don't be so goddamn tone deaf that you don't do it out of tone deaf. Then you're just fucking stupid. You know, that's when you're just, okay, forget it, you know? Like, if you have to offend somebody, have it rooted in truth because it's unpleasant, but they know it exists and it's true. You know, like I'll draw shit about like stuff that like I did one called Californication because I was bored and it was just California. This is the middle, like when we were experiencing all these earthquakes and brownouts and forest fires and shit and the dead coronavirus were falling out from the air. See, that's rooted in truth because that was chaotic of what I do, right?
Right.
What I was experiencing in California. That was funny, you know? Some people might have found it offensive, but it was funny because it was in truth. This is me observing the thing.
Right.
But if you do something like PETA did, that actually is very fucking tone deaf.
I would have to concur.
There's a difference between being tone deaf and being offensive. Know the difference. A lot of people are tone deaf.
I love it. Demon Bitch takes healthies, not selfies.
I had to do the drum roll, not the rim shot. I don't have a rim shot. Like there you go.
It works. All right, Christy, I got your website in there. I got your store link in there. If you guys are interested in this character, what she's talked about, go check her out. Go make purchases. Go check out that character, Demon Bitch or whatnot.
Woo!
Christy, where can everybody find you on social media?
Okay, so everybody can get like wearied with links, but on horrortourstudios.com, that has my social media link to my Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. And I have other ones like Periscope and stuff, but they're all there on my YouTube. You can click on the links and subscribe to them. I also have Demon Bitch Official for my Instagram and my Demon Bitch ones on my Instagram and Twitter. They're both different because I wasn't able to grab the Demon Bitch one by itself. And also, if you want to get the store with Webtoons, there's a link directly to those as well on the website.
Awesome. All right, so that is a wrap on our show. I'll be emailing you this piece of artwork for you to do whatever you want to do with it or whatnot. If you guys enjoyed the show and you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter, or wherever the heck you're watching it, give me a subscribe, give me a follow. I do this type of stuff all the time. Chat and Draw happens on Mondays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. every week. And I have tons of people on here that are pretty cool or whatnot. And I'm somewhat organized, so I can kind of tell you, who's coming up next on the show on Monday night. Let's see here. Calendar coming up. We're in September. Oh, I got Crescent City Monsters in the building Monday night with Newton, and that's going to be a fun one. And John Jennings will be joining me on Thursday of next week, so 2 big episodes. If you're interested in following anything that I do, you can follow me on all of my social media as Most Epic Art. It's up there right above me. Right here. You see it on Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, TikTok, Facebook, and Twitch. You can follow Most Epic Art. And if you're interested in getting on the show, message me and I will provide you the link so you can sign up and get aboard to figure out if you want a black and white digital or you want a color drawing for Patreon or for the Chat and Draw show. I think I may have some personal agenda in it, but I think it's a great way to promote your books. So I want to thank you.
I have no problem with this.
No problem.
No, I don't have an issue with it.
I want to thank Chrissy for joining us and being on the show today and letting me dance in her arena and appreciate all of her boisterous talk, her joyous opinions. And I just appreciate somebody that just holds nothing back.
Filthy fucking mouth. That's what I got to say.
All right, everybody. I will catch you next week. Next week on Chat and Draw, but tomorrow, Good, the Bad, and Nerdy returns, and we are going to be reviewing an awesome comic movie called Unknown Origins on Netflix. I recommend, if you like comic books, watch this movie. I thought this was going to be corny, and it ended up being one of the best comic movies I've ever watched. So check that out. And good night, everybody.